Hey, this is Dasher Phil, and we're going to talk about food delivery orders. The ones that we're going to take, the ones we're going to avoid, and the ones that we're going to think about, and a bonus one at the end. You can also use this strategy on multiple food delivery apps such as GrubHub or UberEats, but we're really going to focus on DoorDash today. And we're not looking at the aspect of cherry picking on multiple apps, but we're really going to focus on the strategy of working from one app during that day. And today's example will be DoorDash. Let's first look at orders that never to take, because when there's orders you never take, it's kind of like a scary movie that's haunting you, and it's just right there. It's just like, ah! Because no matter how fast you run, it's always right there. First, let's talk about the orders to avoid. So some orders to avoid right here. We have $7.50 for 14.3 miles, $7.75 for 14.6 miles, $7 for 12.6 miles, $9.25 for 16.7 miles. Never, ever take an order like this at any time. Never. Not even to keep up your acceptance rating. These orders are ridiculous. Never take these orders. You got it? Good? Good. Never take these orders, because these are going to waste your time and your money. Because you got the gas that you're putting in your vehicle, the mileage that you're putting on your vehicle, the wear and tear of your car. You got to be thinking about all of these different things, because this miles to money ratio is ridiculous. Although you may see these during these peak time hours, is going to be your best time to go out there to make some money and maybe avoid more orders like this. And those peak time hours are from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So now let's look at some good orders to take. Now these orders right here are just some of my platinum orders that I've taken recently, such as $6 for 1.7 miles, $6 plus for 2.1 miles, $5.50 for 1.5 miles, $6 plus for 1.1 mile, $7.25 plus for 2.9 miles. These are all great orders to take. But you may say, well, those are all platinum. That's not fair. But the thing is, since I earned my platinum status, you can earn platinum status too. But that's a whole nother video that I will be having in the future. So be sure to subscribe to my channel, and we'll dive deep into how to get to platinum and how to keep platinum. And your other thought is, well, can I ever get good orders and I'm not being platinum? Yes, you can. You can even get orders if you're at a 0% acceptance rating. But then you might say, well, can I even get good orders? Is DoorDash even worth it if even I'm not in the silver, gold, or platinum? Yes, you're still gonna see good orders, but they're not going to be as frequently. You're not going to be in that high tier where you're going to see more of those orders. Because when I got into the platinum, that's where I saw more of the $6 for 1 mile, the $7 for 1 or 2 miles, stuff like that. So we saw orders that we want to avoid, and we saw some orders that we want to accept. We know what the difference is between a bad and a good order. So now let's look at some questionable orders. Now would you take this order? $4.50 for 6.5 miles. This one could be very questionable. Most people would never take this, because if you look at the distance from that little blue spot into the restaurant, but the thing for you to know is, where is the actual hot zone at? Because at my blue spot, I'm not even near my hot zone. I am not near the restaurants. The restaurants are on there where it says that E. Ovilla Road. That right there is where our restaurants are at. So by the time if I drove to the Ovilla Road, and the time I would have made it to the restaurant at Jack in the Box, it's almost basically the same distance and the same mileages. But you're still saying, it's $4.50. Why would you still even take it? It's ridiculous. Well, at the time, I was not even multi-apping. It was one of my first few orders of the day, and it wasn't all that busy. But I still took it because it was still about the same distance. By the time I got to the restaurant, it was ready, and I went ahead and took it to where you see the little house icon, and it was right there pretty close. I was on that same road to go right back to my hot zone to continue my day. Now, do I recommend taking a $4.50? No, it's completely situational. It's a questionable order. I just saw this order so I can continue my day making money and keeping my acceptance rating up. So now let's look at a quick recap. Now we see these really bad orders. We see really good orders. Now let's also look at this example for a questionable order. Would you take this? 825, 5.2 miles, Wendy's. Now if you're cherry picking, now I know there's going to be some people, especially if you're cherry picking, you're not going to take this order because it's not $2 per mile. But if you're just working from one app, this is an order that you're kind of looking for, and it's okay to take. And this leads us to our bonus tip for today. Bend but don't break. Let's look at some examples of bending but not breaking, such as we just talked about that 825 for 5.2 miles. We also have the 450 for 2.4 miles for one item. Or at that moment in time, I was just sitting there waiting for an order, hoping and praying for something to come up. And this 450 for 2.4 miles came in, and it's one item. I was like, well, that's not terrible. At least I'll get started. And the great news about this was actually I got a stacked order for $6, which is actually close by. So that was awesome. We have another order here, $5 for 1.7 miles. That's not too bad either. And if you notice, this is at 3:40 p.m., which was out of the peak time of 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. So this is definitely an order that I'm going to be taking to keep me busy, because a lot of times I could be just sitting there. If you notice where I am, that little blue dot, I'm actually away from my hot zone, and I have to travel back to my hot zone where you see where the restaurants are at. Then I had to travel just a little bit further, and that's already 1.7 miles. That means it's actually less mileage from the restaurant to the home. And let's look at one more example of the bend but don't break method. Now you look at this 650 for 3.5 miles, which doesn't look too bad when you just hear it. But look at it a little bit closer. We see it's Wingstop, and we see it's two different orders. So when we see that there's two different orders here for Wingstop, we're thinking about, well, that's like $3.25 per. That ain't good enough. And really, it's really not. But it's still close by. So get it done, get over with, get good, get your money. You may bend, but do not break. And in my real life scenario recently, where I had up to an 85% AR, and I felt like DoorDash was almost like punish me and just beat me down with terrible orders, such as the orders that you've seen today, and I'm still getting them. It beat me down to 70%, which was right there on the border of the platinum status. So I had to make a decision on taking on more questionable orders, but not taking bad orders. So I took more questionable orders, such as even to the point of just about $1 or even $1 of the mile, $1 to the mile, just to make sure I'm keeping my status so I can get those higher paying orders and I can still get the catering orders, because those are very important. And not only that, but also dashing anytime, where I don't have to work around a schedule, because a lot of times in my market, when I'm trying to schedule something, I might not schedule efficiently enough or far in advance enough, because the way my life is, it's a little bit hectic. I'm not too sure when I'm going to be available. So dash anytime is really needed for me for when I do DoorDash. You can really see a lot of my struggles and a lot of my pain when you see these ride-along videos that I also have attached to this video, so you can see how and what I'm going through, because I'm pretty sure you're going through the same thing if you're driving for DoorDash. If you're like me, trying to keep your acceptance rating up, you know what I'm going through. And if you got any value to this, please like, share, subscribe, and you'll see me in your next video.